Hey guys, it's Madlibs, and as I'm sure you've noticed, this video is nothing like my typical video. My sprites aren't as active and animated as usual. There's stock footage in the background instead of a speed paint because I refuse to draw anything that will in the future be associated with this or associated with this in my brain. And the reason being is that this video is a lot heavier than normal. As cliche as this is going to sound, I never really wanted or expected to make this kind of video, or this video specifically. I actually had a rule for myself on YouTube that I would never make a serious video on a specific person. I'd stick to communities and topics and trends in the art community instead of drama. And I also said a long time ago that I would never be talking about this person again due to their horrible behavior that I didn't want to put more attention on. However, the person I'll be talking about today is not only spreading lies and cronies to attack people in the art and commentary community, he's also been doing it for over a year, and I feel like attention on this subject is exactly what's needed right now. Actually, this video is going to be uploaded on the exact day that I uploaded my first video on this person a year ago, showing you guys that it has been exactly a year. I'm not exaggerating with that. Now, this person goes by Akumu. Yes, the Japanese word for nightmare. We're dealing with one of those people today. Now, most of you probably know him as the guy who made a horrible video about Slimmers and Madam during that whole drama, where he tried to claim that Slimmers needed to be hated just as much as Madam. And he was also trying to accomplish that by endlessly harassing her on Twitter. Now, quite a few people have made videos on this kid because of Nezzy Monster and Ponder Sprocket's video. However, all of them only talk about the video that he made, the one video and the one instance of harassment. And the ones that do get into the unrelated terrible things he said and done don't go as in-depth as I think they should. They only scratch the surface, which is a real problem. Because by doing that, they paint this kid as nothing more than a dumb teenager who made a video and had some bad takes. When in reality, he's done so many more reprehensible things that people need to know about, which is why I'm here today. Today, me and all the YouTubers that I'm showing on screen are going to be talking about and going over all the shit that he's done to us and others in the community over this past year. Now, before we actually get started, I do want to clear something up. I am aware of this person's age. I am aware that he is a minor. He is 17 and he was 16 when this entire thing started. However, him being a minor does not excuse all of the things he's done, which include, but are not limited to, also this is a content warning for the things that are going to be in the rest of this video, harassing people for months on end, accusing people of being pedophiles, or being into underage character porn, because that's totally not a pedophilia accusation, accusing someone of spreading false sexual harassment allegations, teaming up with doxers who are by coincidence doxing somebody that he has a huge problem with right now, targeting the trans community and trans people for attacking, mocking victims of sexual assault, apparently having a minor's case file of said sexual assault, and having an all-around open hatred for the LGBTQ+ community. There's a lot going on, so I'd suggest that you pause this video and get something to eat or drink, because just by looking at the timestamp, I'm sure that you can see we have a lot to go over. And before we get into the specifics of what he's done, why don't we go over who he is as a person in general, so that you guys know exactly who these allegations and months of harassment are coming from. Content warning for transphobia. Now, I'm not going to say that he's transphobic because he'll swear up and down that he isn't in tweets, in videos, and comments. So you know what, why don't we all give him the benefit of the doubt? Let's read out some tweets he made about trans people in the trans community, and I'll let you guys decide for yourselves if he's transphobic or not. I purposely call them their real sex. However, I'm not against trans people. I'm just not gonna do what they want. Here's a joke. I'm a female because I identify as one. Here's a joke. I'm a female because I identify as one. Here's a joke. I'm a female because I identify as one. Here's a joke. I'm a female because I identify as one. That's a male. No matter surgery, no matter hormones, no matter your feelings, it changes nothing. Literally nothing. I don't hate you for this. In fact, I hold nothing against you. I pity you. You can't actually transition. That's the painful truth about it. Another example of the delusions that plague people. Almost heartbreaking. Somebody responded to him once with, "A man is all I see. Oh, and my beautiful girlfriend. Hee hee hee." Not really. You're delusional. And I love pointing it out. I'm 16. I'm not a man. My birth certificate says otherwise. Yeah, okay. Tell yourself that. I will, thanks for the tip. For real though, I am a 16-year-old girl. My friends who know me IRL know what I look like. You aren't fooling anyone. Keep trying though. It's funny. Says the girl about to take harmful hormones to feed their delusions. I'm sexist for saying I hate men? I'm literally a man. What? Make it make sense. You're not a man. He's a man, bruh. Wrong. She's a woman. Have you seen his pictures? That's clearly a man. That's no man. Women who think they're men aren't men. Germany shouldn't be allowing it. If you want to spend your money on fake breasts, dangerous hormones, or bottom surgeries, let them. It changes nothing but physique. Somebody said, fuck y'all for trying to erase the trans community. Bitch, we still here, we ain't going anywhere. The LGB Alliance is a hate group, pass it the fuck on. And he responded, you can't erase something that's built on non-existent principles. In case that wasn't enough, I'm gonna play a few clips of him actually saying these things in his videos.
If you haven't figured it out, jackass, I'm a girl.
Sure sounds like you're working on it. That voice sounds real feminine, huh? I don't hate you for your attempts to be a woman, and I never will. That's your decision. When it comes to trying to force or demand what other people do, that's when we have issues. Your gender dysphoria is your problem, not mine, so don't treat it as such. Your gender dysphoria makes you genuinely believe something untrue, which is why it's by definition delusions. Do I hate you over it? No. I don't have any prejudice until you demand shit from others. That's when it crosses the line. Ultimate L. The first actual point they get into consists of going on about pronouns like anyone actually gives a shit. At the end of the day, I don't hate you for your beliefs, and I'm not going to do whatever you want me to do. I'm not going to refer to you to the proper pronouns, and it's not a big deal over that. If you don't like that, okay, there's no need to make a big deal over it. But do I hate you for your beliefs? No. Do I fear you because of your beliefs? No. So ultimately, there's no transphobia. Here's the thing, and when it comes to my belief, this supposed identity you reference is a figment of your imagination, a belief you're stuck to. I am not required to accept your belief, and that doesn't make me in the wrong, and in fact, objective science is against it. You all seem to have these typical lies where Christian families or families in general oppose your beliefs and attempt to force theirs onto you, and shame you if you don't. Yet you're actively shaming others who don't agree with you, labeling them a word which is clearly not accurate to the situation.
You say you're not a transphobe because you don't call Jerry Fluff a tranny or anything, but you purposefully misgendered her multiple times.
I called a man a man. There's nothing else to it. He claims to be a girl, whatever. If he wants to dress like a girl, put on makeup, I don't really care. I don't really care what procedures he has done until it is physically possible to change the human body into the opposite sex, which it's not yet. You are not that sex. Okay? I'm not going to lie to someone so that they can feel happy. If your happiness depends upon other people lying to you, you have a serious issue in your life.
He also spends an ungodly amount of time arguing about the identities of trans people. He does this so much, in fact, that showing you guys all the screenshots would play them by too fast for you guys to see what they're actually about. So instead, I'm just going to scroll through his Twitter. As I scroll, you're going to notice a particular theme with these tweets. The theme being that this guy spends hours on end attacking and arguing about the validity of trans people. But don't worry, guys. He's not transphobic, because he says so. The next little piece of this person is his, at best, internalized homophobia. And to show you what I mean, I'm going to be reading a selection of tweets, an Instagram post he made, and the comments on said Instagram post. Pansexual is literally bisexual with extra steps, seeing as only 2 genders exist, therefore you can only be with 2. He made this post, which is a compilation of a bunch of sort of ship-related memes for My Hero Academia, but the caption is where the juicy stuff is, so let's read it. This right here is a fine example of an issue within the MHA-BNHA community. Headcanon AU, ship for fun, those are excuses for you to spread your filthy, annoying, garbage ideals throughout the community. Todeku is not a thing, and will never happen. Bakudeku is not a thing, and will never happen. Just about any of your gay ships won't happen and have no evidence. Do something productive. Hashtag BNHA, hashtag BNHA Season 4, hashtag Bakudeku, hashtag Todeku. Now, a lot of people took issue with this, obviously. Let's read some of the comments, shall we? 1, it's a form of expression. 2, it makes people happy. Why is that an issue? It's a cheap and sick way of a form of expression. If it makes you happy, you're fucked. Who cares if there's no evidence or it'll never happen? People ship for fun. It's not hurting anybody by principle. It's sickening. You're taking a man's work and turning it into something it's not. Well, yes, but actually no. It's not harming anyone. And Horikoshi has made no attempt to say stop or that he thinks it's wrong, so obviously it's fine. No. Incorrect. Why? Because it's wrong. The characters are not gay. Never will be. Therefore, this doesn't need to be happening. It's toxic shipping. But you know we're enjoying ourselves because of it, so what's your point? Quit being sick. That's what. Because I ship my fave character? Why does that make me sick? If you ship any of those, you're sick. I don't ship any of the ships you mentioned, but I got other gay and lesbian ships. I don't see the problem with that. Bro, when you put out a show, you have to expect people to ship things. You're defending BNHA, but have you not realized that people ship characters in every fandom? You legit can't escape from people shipping it. If it's such a problem, why not get off the internet? You, one tiny lowlife, isn't going to stop all people from enjoying themselves. Ships aren't the issue. These ships are. You ship things that make sense, not just because it's gay and you're delusional. I never said it was just me. However, a group of people can stop this. Lowlife. The only lowlifes are the ones who ship this stupid shit seen above in the post. You're a clown. And if that wasn't enough, he also claimed in a video that gay My Hero Academia ships have created, and I quote,
some of the most vile depictions you can't get out of your memory.
Now, he claims that this is because people have been harassing the writers and the show's creator in order to make these ships canon and not because the ships are gay.
And has caused actual issues with the My Hero Academia author. Literal harassment on the author over a ship. Literal petitions to force and control his work of a ship with no evidence. This somehow correlates to me actually having a prejudice to actual gay human beings.
Which is very interesting because as I just read in the post, he specified that that one person was shipping things that made sense and not the gay ships. He specifically said multiple times in the screenshots that he had a problem with the gay ships. And while I agree trying to force non-canon ships to be canon is gross, saying that gay ships are spreading garbage ideals and create the most horrible depictions you can't get out of your memory, and calling people that enjoy gay ships sick and disgusting is very fucked up and it's very homophobic. Now you'll notice that I've titled this part Ignorance. I was originally going to title it Racism. However, I've gone over this with multiple people and many agree that he isn't being exactly racist, more so he's just being ignorant and gatekeeping. But there have also been people who do believe this is racist. Now I don't want to put that label on somebody unless I know it's 100% true, so I'm just going to read these posts and I'm going to let you guys make your own decisions. Now this is a comment on Holy Majesty, or as he's formerly known, Ghosty XE's video of a TikTok where he was cosplaying Bakugo. I'm going to play the video on the screen right now.
よしんじゃあ早速一曲歌ってみっかいくぞせーのでもそんなんじゃダメもうそんなんじゃほら心は進化するよもっともっと
Akumu decided to comment, Bakugo doesn't have that skin tone, more of an AU if anything. Well, it is called cosplay, and last time I checked, I can cosplay whoever I want, so... Yes, you can. I can also point out that it looks nothing like the character. You can also be laughed at. So... well, you're welcome to have invalid opinions. Here's another picture of a woman doing her own version of Loki, and she titled it, Loki, but make it modern and black, and she looks hella dope. Akumu responds, no. Here's another woman cosplaying Zabuza. I don't know who that is, but she looks great. And Akumu said, looks nothing like Zazuba. Here's that same woman who decided to cosplay Loki, retweeting something that said, how to draw black hair box braids, top knot. And she said, this is important. All black women have the right to see all their hairstyles represented. Akumu's response was, oh dear God, this representation horseshit. Here's him arguing with some people over that whole horrible controversy where a black woman was getting harassed because she decided to cosplay that one chick whose name I forget, and people were going after her because she's black and the character is not black. Akumu decided he'd had a few words to say on it, and here are some snippets from that argument. Correction, I will ask and have asked why they choose to shit on a character's design. It's simple, cosplay what you look like and respect the character design, otherwise be a dumbass and be laughed at. Either works. Black card revote, don't be pathetic. I say this shit all the time. Cosplay what you look like. You can cosplay it and be stupid. Sure, I simply respect the character design. If I see you at a con, I would point it out immediately. I've done it before. He also tries to explain that he says what he said because he respects character designs and doesn't want the character designs tarnished. Let me play that clip now.
I simply said stick to characters that you could resemble in means of looks and body type. That was it. Suddenly I have a prejudice to all black people for telling one mixed girl to cosplay what she looks like. I respect the character's design and that's it. In fact, as an artist and writer myself, I refrain from damaging or tarnishing or altering a character's design. So you take me giving valid criticism about respecting a character's design and cosplaying what you look like to me actively shaming people for the color of their skin, when I am shaming them for cosplaying a character that isn't the color of their skin or looks like them.
Apparently somebody with dark skin cosplaying somebody with light skin is tarnishing and disrespecting a character's design. He's also gone out of his way on Twitter to bash people mentioning a character as black, as I will read now. Not enough black female characters in anime? I drew mine, my original shonen manga character. Really? Really? Now there's nothing wrong with a black female character, but my guy, is that all your character is? Are you trying to boast about 2 of her features which are irrelevant to her character arc? Look at a kick, a black martial arts seinen manga by a black creator. Those in supportive mood towards black and other diverse manga comics, check out Underground. The artist being black is irrelevant, as is the character's race. If the story's good, the story's good. Hashtag Black Girl Magic Lead Hero and returns with new installments. They fucking made it to a tag? Oh my god, hashtag Black Girl Magic? Christ, you're all obsessed with race. You'll notice right here that they're all right next to each other, meaning that he went out of his way to find people talking about black characters or black representation just so that he could bash them. Oh, but it's okay, guys, because he's mixed. Again, I'll let you guys make your own decisions on that one, and we will move on. Now, something else that needs to be talked about is his lies, his alt accounts, and his pattern of deleting tweets and comments. The reason I bring this up is because he keeps trying to make these expose, or content Nagasaki as he calls them, on people. And if you're gonna make those expose videos, you really need to have some integrity. You need to be a trustworthy person. Somebody that people can trust to tell the truth and not have some kind of hidden agenda when making this content. Which he is not, at all. And I'm gonna show you why. Now, I don't know if I really have to point out that he's a shady person after all this, but I'm going to anyway. Keep in mind that these are only the general lies that he's told. We'll get into the false accusations, spreading the lie that somebody was spreading false accusations, and later on in specific segments. First and foremost, this kid has a bit of a reputation for making alt accounts to spam and harass people. Here's the screenshots of the ones I could grab off of Twitter, because he keeps ban evading by making new accounts, which is against Twitter's terms of service. Here are the alts I have in my hidden channels list from when he tried to spam one of my streams. Here's another alt from an unlisted stream that he went into to spam on somebody else's channel. Here's his Instagram alt that he made for responding to comments. And the icing on the cake, here's a nice compilation of him admitting to having and making these alt accounts. The accounts weren't made specifically for you, and I never made one for Insta. I gave your post criticism, and then you blocked me. Love how you mention my age and say kid when you're younger than me.
You did a lot of depth research, kind of like Ponder did, but you didn't come to the conclusion that I've had several alts. The screenshot you just showed is my current account showing screenshots of the account Ponder was talking about. You're talking about my troll account. Literally saying if I didn't, someone would get my alt, that current trolling alt, suspended. It was to prevent alt suspension, not to hide any truths. This is the alt that I used to troll right here. 641 tweets. Yet I wiped it. Okay. And this one's also suspended. Then there's my current alt, which is this one. And then there's my previous alt, which plenty of them share the same pictures, but the ads are quite different, as you can see. I've had a lot of alts, probably I guess I could go with the number 11, and plenty of them share the same profile pictures, so I can understand the confusion, but if you pay attention to the screenshots, you can clearly tell that the @ is different, or the name. Typically the name is quite different. And really, I just put 2 alts in there. One of them just screenshotted literally everything in every channel, and then the other one, I just trolled I trolled the majority of the server. Some of them didn't fall for it. They were smart enough, but the others, they got seriously trolled.
Not only that, but it's been stated dozens of times the accounts weren't made specifically for slurs. They were made to prevent my removal. If you're gonna make a commentary, do some research.
I would admit, because I'm aware what you can do, you can attempt to have me removed with reports. You'd succeed in removing the account, but you wouldn't ever succeed in removing me. Don't start a losing battle. It'll only result in punishment. A genuine question here. How can somebody make this many alt accounts to bother people and still think that they're in the right? Another thing he does quite often is delete comments on his YouTube videos. Here's a whole bunch of screenshots of him admitting that he deletes comments that portray his video inaccurately, as he says. I notice you've deleted Slimmer's comment. I wonder why. I also had responded to it. I delete all comments that portray me or my video inaccurately. I've also commented on her video bringing it up. I'm not hiding anything. Your suspicion is faulty. I am hiding comments that aren't accurate. Also, huge LMAO at you're trying to silence the truth. I'm not going to put up with that while deleting comments that you don't like. Not accurate. I'm deleting comments that portray the video or me in an incorrect way. Very similar to this, I would suggest not continuing if you don't want it to be deleted. I'm sorry, but I'll have to remove this. I suggest being more accurate in your next comment. And as you can see, even if he doesn't delete the comments, he sure threatens to do it to people a lot. And can I just say that if you're so insecure about your video's points that you need to delete comments that portray it inaccurately, then maybe your points in your video weren't very good. Because if you were actually confident in those points, you would know that even if somebody in the comments portrayed it incorrectly, people would know that and they would ignore it because you portrayed your points very well in your video. At least that's how it would be if you had good points. Another thing he deletes are his own tweets. Here's a couple screenshots of him admitting that he's going to be wiping his Twitter account of tweets after making a video. When I start my YouTube stuff, things are going to be clusterfuck. So I'm going to wipe the tweets. Until then, let's debate. Heads up, after I publish my video, I'm going to delete most of my tweets. There won't be a use for them afterwards.
I said I was going to wipe some tweets, and I even explained why. It was all junk. I also go into depth on the same account, literally saying if I didn't, someone would get my that current trolling alt suspended. It was to prevent alt suspension, not to hide any truths.
Now, he tried to claim that he never deleted anything by using screenshots of tweets from the old account. However, these tweets are all cropped in a way where you can't see the timestamp of the phone or whatever is screenshotting it, which means that these screenshots could have easily been taken before he deleted anything, so it doesn't really hold up. Not only does he make alt accounts and delete tweets and comments, he also records Discord conversations without people's knowledge, which in many places is very illegal, which is what he did for this video on another YouTuber that I used to know, Toasty Vanilla.
Toasty VC'd with all of us, including Foxton. This VC took place August 23rd. At the time of this recording, it's the 27th. So that was 4 days ago.
I thought he was 16. I thought someone corrected me and told me he was 16.
No.
Who the fuck thinks he's 16? He wears
I don't
a
know,
freshman
someone on
uniform.
Twitter told me
What
that,
the
and
fuck
I'm
are you
like, oh, I guess
talking
he is.
about?
Now, I won't be talking about the Toasty Vanilla video or the situation in this video because the things that Akumu accuses him of, he fully admits to on the Discord call, so I can't really deny or refute any of that stuff. I'm only bringing this up to show how shady it is to be recording somebody in a server without their knowledge. He also tried to convince somebody in my comments once that I could see who dislikes my videos. The comment that he was responding to was something along the lines of, oh, the one dislike is Akumu, which I hearted because I thought it was funny. He responded, that isn't accurate. Someone already said this, and I even posted a screenshot. Madlibs herself can also see who liked the video. Her liking the comment that isn't correct shows how much she enjoys false shit talking. Which is blatantly untrue. I can't see specifically who likes or dislikes my videos on my creator page. The only way that I can see that is if somebody has their likes public and I go out of my way to check if my videos are on their liked playlist. But I can't see a list of people who liked and disliked. And as somebody who uploads videos, he should know that. Which means that this is just a straight up lie. And as of recording this video, I just received some screenshots of him saying in a server that he hasn't harassed anybody for months and that that's a false claim against him.
The best part is, I didn't harass anyone. I had 3, technically now 4, interactions with Slumbers. There is no history of harassment.
Well, if that is true, which I'm sure that it is, there should be no problem with me putting a bunch of tweets directed at certain people on the screen right now. If you're not watching this video but you're listening to it, I really encourage you to switch back over here right now for just a moment and take a look. Are you here now? Okay, good. Now, I don't want you to look at the actual tweets. I'll still be going over them later. You can still read them if you want. But what's important for this is I want you to look at the people who are tagged and the dates of the tweets. You'll notice something very interesting. That being that these tweets directed at specific people with no provocation or actual conversation being had are over a period of months. Huh. If only there was a word for going out of your way to bother and harass people for months on end. Or maybe a term. I wonder what it would be called. Now, this next part is where things start to go from an ignorant teen to harmful to other people, and it's only going to get worse from here. Now, to my knowledge, Akumu himself has never doxed anybody, and I'm not trying to accuse him of doing the doxing. However, he heavily associates himself with multiple doxers who are part of something called the UTTP, a group dedicated to doxing YouTubers and other people. Not only that, but another person from UTTP has told another YouTuber, Slumber, in the DMs that they and Akumu are allies. They also admit to being the ones who doxed Ponder Sprocket on a different account. And I also have DMs of this account talking with Akumu about UTTP in another server. This person goes by Lugia, and you can see him in Akumu's comment section and on other people's videos on Akumu, and you can see, of course, this account admitting to being Lugia in these DMs. I also have evidence of Akumu admitting to knowing Surebase, aka Sherman. If you guys have hung out in the streams of anybody in the art commentary community, you know who he is. He's a loser who spends all of his time poorly doxing people using bots in YouTubers' streams. He does this on multiple streams, and I actually have many of his alt accounts hidden on my channels list, as you can see.
I think Sherman's here.
I don't give a shit. It could literally, I can't say anything. The only ones that need to be blocked and banned are the ones, like I said before, that was the doxing material that I told you in DMs, or if somebody's spamming the same thing over and over and over again in separate messages, then you can do that. Everything else, though, I can handle.
Oh no, this is Akumu's friend we're talking about. The dude who is trying to not only hack into my stuff and take my money, but also has attempted to dox me on numerous occasions. And if that's who he chooses to associate with, fine then.
Now, it is true that Sherman was bothering Nezimonster well before all of this happened, but nobody has ever tried to break into her Twitter or PayPal before she had problems with Akumu. That only happened after Akumu was having problems with Nezi. Now, Akumu claims that he told Sherman to stop messing with her. However, I think it's very interesting that as soon as Akumu gets into some bigger beef with Nezi after all of this time after her video came out, that somebody, for some mysterious reason, starts trying to break into her Twitter and PayPal. Yes, her PayPal. The thing that she uses to make money through her commissions. The thing that has her personal banking information on it as well as her address, endangering both her financial situation and her personal safety, and this shit is not okay, for multiple reasons. The first and worst of all being that this could put her and a lot of other people that he's trying to dox in danger, but it's also because this right here is insanely hypocritical. Allow me to explain. Now, something else that Akumu loves to do is claim that people are hypocrites, which is very funny considering all of his own hypocrisies. One of the ways that he likes to quote-unquote call people out for hypocrisy is through mere association alone. For example, a while back, my friend Toby called out another artist known as Ben the Looney for being a creep because one of his favorite things to draw is porn of 10-year-old characters. Which, first of all, ew, Ben, you fucking freak, what is wrong with you? Now, Akumu tried to debunk her accusation because she knows Fuchsia Butter, somebody who Akumu has decided that he exposed for underage character porn, which is bullshit, and we'll get into why in Lucy's segment. But wait, aren't you literally friends with Fuchsia, who I literally exposed for underage character porn? Which is interesting because here he is on Twitter asking for Ben the Looney's Discord. If he's so against underage character porn and knowing people who even consume it, as he put it, why is he asking for the Discord of somebody who draws it? Now, some people could argue that he was asking for this Discord so that he could troll Ben or something like that, which would make sense considering that Akumu claims to be a troll, but that doesn't excuse this next part. Now, as we've just established, Akumu is friends and aligns with multiple doxers. However, he says in his server, through an alt account of course, that he doesn't approve of doxing. And in a video about Fuchsia Butter, he goes off for a couple minutes about how awful somebody in Lucy's server was because they threatened to dox his IP.
Pronouns. Kuro, aka Maximus, was entirely open and admitting that they supposedly had been looking at my private information. And with me using a VPN, a paid VPN, Demon would have had to break into server data from said VPN. So even as a mere threat, that is a very serious crime. Fuchsia didn't ban the person until his own damn staff had to hammer the seriousness of the threats in. In Fuchsia's eyes, it's just an IP.
If he's so against doxing, and the person in Lucy's server is terrible because they tried to dox him, then why is he close with multiple doxers? Isn't he participating in the same kind of hypocrisy by association that he's getting mad at Toby for? That's not the only instance of hypocrisy. There's another big one. One of Akumu's phrases he likes to use is "keep my name out of your mouth." In fact, he went after Miss ZiZi and Fuchsia Butter, again, apparently DMing them to voice chat with him because Lucy mentioned his name a couple of times in a video that was released a few days prior, a video that has nothing to do with him. Literally, the mere mention of his name is enough to set him off.
Even sounds like Akumu. Damn it. This kid, he talks like Akumu, and it pisses me off because it's the same condescending bullshit. He's talking out his ass so hard.
But wait, if he truly believes in the whole "keep my name out of your mouth" thing, then why is it okay for him to run around and talk about all of the people that he wants to keep his name out of their mouth? You aren't the only one to try and call out these nasty ass people. I called out a dude who was into underage character porn, had child porn in his server, adults and underage people sending inappropriate images, and tried to rationalize underage character porn. People don't care. This is referring to Lucy. For all the time she and her idiots had my account smacked down, I'd say we're finally even, referring to Slimmers. ZiZi can be competent for once, referring to something that ZiZi retweeted. Reminds me of both the Lucy situation, although Lucy eventually got backlash, and the Toasty drama, referring to Fuchsia Butter and Toasty Vanilla. Explain to me why it's okay for you to run around having their names in your mouth, but as soon as somebody mentions you offhand anywhere on the internet, you have a fucking fit. Now, Akumu has said multiple times that his comments towards Slimmers when he was harassing her and a lot of other things he does are just trolling.
There's nothing to hide in that description. All I said was I was trolling, and I'm literally acknowledging me trolling in this video. So why would I hide the fact I was trying to troll? You're talking about my troll account. This is the alt that I used to troll right here. 641 tweets. Yet I wiped it. Okay. I just trolled I trolled the majority of the server. Some of them didn't fall for it. They were smart enough. But the others, they got seriously trolled. And it was by far the funniest thing ever.
Are we forgetting this man literally used me trolling furries and simps on Twitter as actual evidence on his video, when literally everyone else has regarded that video as just me fucking with people? Someone else would try and bring up my trolling, but they'll just end up like this.
This is not an excuse. Trolling is not a catch-all to avoid consequences for everything you've ever done. Whether or not you're trolling, creating alts to harass somebody is not okay. Whether or not you're trolling, mocking somebody's assault to their face is not okay. Whether or not you're trolling, attacking trans people is not okay. Whether or not you're trolling, absolutely none of the things that you've done in this video are okay. I was just trolling is not an acceptable excuse or explanation for this kind of behavior, especially when you go on to make these kind of claims.
We have a minor sharing child pornography to adults. We have adults sharing imagery of minor characters and even themselves.
Not only that, but I was just trolling seems to be very selective for him, since in this screenshot that I read earlier, you can see him lamenting over the fact that people aren't taking his claims against Fuchsia Butter seriously. But why would people take these claims seriously if you're just a troll? Are you a troll? Or are you somebody exposing terrible people in the commentary community? You can't be both if you want your exposed videos and your claims to be taken seriously. Speaking of being taken seriously, another huge reason that I'm making this video is because unfortunately, this kid has started to gain some traction. He's started to gain a few little cronies who want to participate in his harassment, as shown by everything I'm showing on screen right now. And that's not okay. Somebody who makes false accusations, takes things out of context, and exaggerates things to tear people down should not be taken seriously. And the only thing that makes all of this worse is that he has admitted that he does all of this for fun. I'll make this entire community burn as a hobby. I'm hitting everything. Like what? You'll see. Can't spoil the fun, you know? Yes, it's fun to accuse people of being into underage character porn. It's fun to harass people for months. It's fun to mock somebody's abuse. It's fun to try to tear down friendships. He claims that he does all this for fun.
Does that mean I'm going to be nicer? No, absolutely not. This is fun. Nothing legitimate. You're right, I am having fun. This is fun, but don't take something out of context.
And then at the end, that's where the fun bits are. I'm going to go through everything that I found in that server that was pathetically sad, but also very funny. And I'm going to go through it all with you guys. And I got I have a lot of stuff. You guys are going to love it.
He does it because he wants to take people down, as he has admitted. And somebody who does that should never be taken seriously on this platform, especially when they're making videos like this. Well, now that I've shown you the kind of person that we're dealing with here, I'm gonna go over and explain his harassment of me and many others over this year. I'll start off with the one that you guys are probably the most familiar with, which is his hatred and harassment of Slimmers, the artist. Now, I'm sure that most of you already know how the Slimmers story goes, but I'm gonna reiterate it very quickly anyways. So the YouTuber Madam asked Slimmers to make thumbnails and some stills for her because she liked some fan art that she made. Slimmers was too young for a PayPal at the time since she was 15, and she said she would do it as long as she got credit because at the time she was a huge fan of Madam and would have loved to make the stills and thumbnails for her. Madam then did not credit her like she said she would. Then she credited her, and then she removed the credit because Slimmers was being unprofessional for asking to be credited. Then she made a huge video on Slimmers where she outed this girl's sexual assault and proceeded to try and dox her phone number on Instagram. Luckily, the number was unusable because it was from an app and not an actual phone. Now, I know I'm leaving some stuff out, but if I go over the entire story, we're going to be here all day. Just go look up some videos on the Madam situation if you don't know what's going on and you're very curious, because that's not really what this is about. This is what started what this was about. Because after all this happened, this guy Akumu decided to take it upon himself to quote-unquote even the scales, as he says. He kept tweeting about and replying to her saying that he wasn't going to stop until she received just as much hate as Madam did. You'll notice I blocked out the name of Slimmers, and that's because she changed it because of this harassment, and I don't want this asshole finding her new tag so that he can harass her some more. Slimmers tried to block him, but he kept coming back with his many alt accounts. This kept going and going. And at one point, he made a tweet asking for people to give him the case number of her assault, and he later claimed to actually have this case filed. This isn't the only time that he's brought up her assault for seemingly no reason. In a tweet that he tagged her in, he actually went on to mock it. Imagine being so stupid, such a waste of space, that you allow someone to be excused of mistakes based upon age and the fact that Daddy tried to have his pathetic fun. That is fucking disgusting. And according to him, he was just trolling when he said and did all this.
You say that me saying I'm trolling is me using an excuse, when no, I'm literally saying what I did, which was trolling several people. That's how I troll. Whether you like it or not, I don't care. It's not going to change anything at the end of the day. I will do as I please. There's nothing to hide in that description. All I said was I was trolling, and I'm literally acknowledging me trolling in this video. You're talking about my troll account.
You for having no self-respect. I'm here to punish you for being an absolute dumbass. Reminder of who and what you are. Wow. Good for you, dude. Do you see yourself as some...
Here you were using screenshots from my troll account.
Eventually, he ended up making a video on her. Now, this video has already been torn to pieces by so many people, so I'm not going to go too far into it, but I will point out a few things. First of all, hearing somebody talk about evening the scales and punishing people out loud is very cringy and very hilarious, so I'll play some of those clips for you so you can enjoy them too.
What gives me the right to punish her? What gives you all the right to punish Madam? If I can't punish Slumbers, what gives you all the rights to punish Madam? If you agree with doing the right thing for justice, if you believe that all justice should be served, if you believe that the truth, not just fragments of the truth, but the entire truth should be out, you'll support me. You'll like this video. That's why everyone is saying they're not going to watch the video or they're just going to click on it to report it. You're trying to silence the truth, and I'm not going to put up with that. Still trying to cancel her. But then can't even the scale.
Honestly, this video doesn't have much to offer outside showing how obsessive he was. Most of it was downplaying Madam's actions.
Now, when you download an image and you say you drew it, that's credit theft. Unless, of course, you give credit to the original person. Why? Because something has to be lost for it to be theft. Period. The whole concept of downloading an image and using it makes everyone an art thief that has ever downloaded an image and used it. Even if they don't take credit. Even if they don't put credit, which means 90% of the roleplay community, probably more than that, are art thieves when it comes to OCs. Even though they didn't take anything unless they took the credit. So you're not only marginalizing, but saying that people are art thieves when they aren't actually. This was the critical mistake Slumbers made, which led to Madam being attacked, removing her credit, and soon resulted in Madam attempting to dox her. Luckily, the number was fake. Now, Madam knew this, as she said this in her story, so I don't see that as technically... I mean, you can say it was an attempted dox. Sure, it was wrong, and even attempting to do so, let alone leaking it, still does... It isn't professional, it is immature, but it's not actually doxing. But the principle is to never dox anyone. It doesn't matter if the number's fake, it doesn't matter how old they are, or how professional or unprofessional they seem to be. However, with the screenshots I have available to you all, this might explain why Madam doxed her. Something else I found rather comedic is when artists scream art theft or art thieves, even though in this case it's not art theft. You can't yell art thief, but be posting your art on a superhighway of data called the internet. That would be like unlocking your doors in your house, and then complaining when someone breaks in and takes something.
Insulting Slimmers, and pretending he's a big, tough, light Yagami type.
Why didn't you bring that up? Maybe that would have not led to the mob, and maybe some kind of arrangement could have talked out. But instead, no, you don't mention it. I kind of feel like you did that on purpose. Now, why would I make this video? Because Slumbers made mistakes, yet just because she's been revealed to be 15 and her dad decided to be inappropriate, people are literally treating her like she's done nothing wrong. Just because she's underage? Are you joking? How can you allow someone to condone cancel culture because what, she was sexually assaulted? Get out of here.
Oh, and bringing up Miss ZiZi's name out of literally nowhere.
When two people do something wrong, they both face consequences. Two wrongs don't make a right, ZiZi. You're 22 and apparently don't know this. Yet you tell me to pay attention to school.
Oh yeah, Xena is unfortunately involved in this as well. He also mentions me because at the time I made a video reading his hilariously bad tweets.
Side note, it is rather upsetting Mad Libs won't be making a response. I wonder what she has to say. She's blocked me. I didn't lie about Slumbers, nor have I lied about her in general.
And you'd think that this is where it ends, but no. He kept going after Slumbers periodically for months and months, as you can see by the dates on the screenshots I'm showing. And he's still going after her to this day. He started tweeting and tagging her with a new alt in June of this year. Keep in mind, this whole thing started in September of last year. And even after all this, he has the gall to say that he dropped the situation and moved on because of this.
But I suspect it's because I recently tagged Slumbers in 2 tweets, followed her, liked, and retweeted her art. If I had a hate boner, why would I tell her I wasn't there to terrorize? That we both said some things to one another and I didn't take it to heart. If anything, that's just me trying to move on.
And so far, that's the whole thing. I'm sure that it's not over because nothing in this kid's mind is over, as all the segments up next are about to show, starting with my own personal experiences with him. Now, I don't mean to brag or anything, but I was actually the first person to make a video on this kid. It was just me reading his hilariously bad anime villain wannabe tweets in a thread that he got into with Miss ZiZi.
Something else you'll realize is that this boy is a big-brained galaxy genius. Let's explore. Haha, I'm so cool. I call others fur fag because that makes me cool. It actually does make me interesting, because I have the self-respect not to dress up and act like an animal.
At first this was all fun and games. I actually tagged him in my tweets about the video and we talked about it. He even commented on the video, responding quite well, and things were all well and good. It wasn't serious at all, that is until I discovered the tweets about him mocking Slimmer's assault and claiming to have her case number for her report of the incident. I decided then not to make the sequel that I had planned at the time, because originally I was going to react to his video about Slimmers. The comment about all this is right here. It starts off with a very recent edit saying, "Edit, some of you may have noticed all of Akumu's comments and replies on the video are gone. This is because he came into one of my live streams to cause trouble and my mods had to hide him from the channel to keep him from bothering the chat because there's no ban from live stream only option. He hasn't left or deleted his replies like a sensible person, sadly." Underneath is the original comment. Heads up y'all, the sequel with me reacting to his video has been cancelled due to him being more of an obsessive head ass who has been insulting, harassing Slimmers on multiple social medias, all while constantly bringing up / mocking her assault, saying she is being excused because, quote, "Daddy played a little too much and Daddy tried to have his pathetic fun," claiming to have her case number and lying about her. So sorry to everybody who wanted a sequel, but honestly I'm done with all this. It's not funny anymore, it's just gross, and at this point I'm not going to watch the video. It ain't worth it. Originally I wasn't going to watch his video, but then a bunch of people from my server or on Twitter and stuff started DMing me about it, and they were like, "Oh my god, right, when are you going to make the sequel video?" So I skimmed it because I was curious, and I ended up leaving an admittedly nasty comment on the video. I said, "Someone sent this to me and I'm glad I decided not to make another video on you. I wouldn't have one good thing to say. This is absolutely pathetic, biased, and unnecessarily aggressive. You aren't a big man righting the wrongs of the internet. You're a sad child who needs to feel powerful. Get over yourself." That's what I have to say, because he said he wanted to see what I had to say.
Side note, it is rather upsetting Mad Libs won't be making a response. I wonder what she has to say. She's blocked me. I didn't lie about Slimmers, nor have I lied about her in general. I never claimed to have her number. I said I had her county in court case.
Now I understand that to some this comment seems a lot more mean than I should have been, and maybe it was at the time. I thought it was all over, but oh no, it wasn't anywhere near over, because ever since that he has never left. He commented on a lot of my posts with really stupid negative stuff, and you guys are gonna have to take that with a grain of salt because I don't have screenshots of it. Besides this one where it's acknowledged that he's been doing this for 7 months by the point this comment was made, and he does not refute it. I will go on to read that for you. I made a post about my comic and he said, "Ew, imagine using Webtoon." And I said, "Alright, I'll finally bite since you clearly want my attention so bad. What's your deal? It's been 7 months since my video on you and all I did was read your words. Why are you still here? What are you getting out of this? Do you, need to talk?" In his response, where he doesn't refute that he's been doing this for 7 months, he says, "I'm literally subscribed. Me commenting means I want attention, and you have a lot of people that want attention. Such flawed logic is ridiculous. I'm not mad about your video. It's fucking hilarious. It expresses me trolling so damn well. Just don't align with blatant idiots, let alone the fact you're using Webtoon. That is a massive disappointment. It's quite literally one of the worst webcomic apps in existence, containing several bad manhwa in itself." The reason that I don't have screenshots of all the other times he's done this is because, as I said in the edited version of my comment, I had to hide him on the channel after he showed up in a live stream to mock my friend Lucy, aka Fuchsia Butter, for being trans. Now I will admit his first main account was hidden for no reason. My friend and mod Toby saw it was him and hid him immediately, and I was going to unhide him because he hadn't done anything yet other than be kind of annoying. However, he decided to come back with multiple alt accounts, which you can see in my hidden channels list, so that he could spam my chat and argue about Lucy's gender. Unfortunately, I deleted that stream because I delete almost all of my streams. I think the only one that I haven't deleted is my Halloween one. So once again, you're gonna have to take that with a grain of salt. What I do have, however, is screenshots of him threatening to review my comic. Now that in and of itself is not a very big deal to me, but what makes this ridiculous is that he commented on this video where I announced the date of the comic, which came out January 31st, 4 months after my video on him. And in the video, I said that the comic wasn't coming out until July, which is 6 months after this announcement video was even put out. And honestly, if I hadn't canceled this comic because I lost interest in it, he probably would have, because to this day, he's still bothering me. In fact, as of recording this, he DM'd me on the 16th of September because I was in a live stream with 2 people that he didn't like. I hadn't talked about him. I hadn't even addressed him. The only thing I addressed was Sherman in the chat because he was doing his classic trying to dox people thing. And when I didn't answer him, he kept DMing me. He said, "Your friend seems to have a real allegation problem. One minute I'm doxing people, the next I'm responsible for someone spamming me while simultaneously I'm there to call Nezzy out because she runs from confrontation yet can talk shit."
Really great person, by the way, has repeatedly tried to dox and hack Nezzy's PayPal account and her address. He's a very bad person.
He's not the one hacking me. He's friends with the person that's been hacking me.
Same thing. Same fucking thing.
He's not the one hacking me. He's friends with the person that's been hacking me. He's not the one hacking me. He's not the one hacking me. He's not the one hacking me.
That pussy shit we spoke about last. The only reason I even started making fun of Toby in the first place is because she opened her mouth and spoke of something she knew nothing of. Might want to let her know time is money, and she's wasting time streaming. She has an OnlyFans, an army of simps to milk dry and spread her ass for, bills to pay. After seeing that this alt was in my server to spy on me because he's had more than one alt in there, he said, you can remove me but can't respond? Don't be a puss. Now this isn't the first time that he's DM'd me. On June 6th, I retweeted my friend Fuchsia Butter's statement against him after he tried to expose her in a video of his. I said, shit like this is fucking disgusting. I knew he was bad, but holy shit. After that, he DM'd me demanding a voice chat, which I refused because I'm pretty sure he would have recorded it anyways. I also said a few things to him along the lines of, you're immature, you're an asshole, stop acting like a $$ anime villain, and I'll gladly voice chat with you. Not the nicest, I will admit. However, at this point, he had been bothering me for 9 months straight. Now, I don't have screenshots of the conversation because I deleted it, but I do have a screenshot of him admitting that he DM'd me demanding a voice chat on Twitter. And I also have him referencing the old DMs in the new DMs when he says that pussy shit we spoke about last. So there we go. Now, while I did respond to the DM in June, I didn't respond to the most recent one, because at this point, it's talking to a brick wall, and there's no point in it. I just removed his alt from my server, and I went on with my day. However, me not responding to him must have really set him off, because shortly afterwards, he made a tweet tagging me and Miss ZiZi, who wasn't even in the stream, mind you. She had no knowledge of the stream, she had nothing to do with it, and apparently he was mad at her too. In the tweet, he says, @MattLibsArt @Miss ZiZi. You know I'm gonna be around forever. I try to be nice and open with you guys, and you just attempt to rid me. Does that group really have you brainwashed that much? Now, he claims that he DM'd me and is bugging me because I shit-talked him, as he says in another video where he mentions me because he keeps bringing me up in his videos.
It actually starts with MadLibs, who's talking shit about me with a retweet and comment of Butter's thread trying to get other YouTubers involved. So I contacted MadLibs. For reference, here's the discussion. Now after MadLibs removed that alt, and then you have those in the comment section talking shit, including MadLibs, who left the situation because she couldn't handle being called out. When literally everyone else has regarded that video as just me fucking with people. Even MadLibs, that's how far his hate boner went. I've already dealt with MadLibs, ZiZi was trolled months back, and you can't deny factual evidence provided in the video. If any one of them have a brain, they'll stay out of it. I'm in MadLibs, sir. I'm in Ponders.
Would you guys like to see this shit talking I did? Now, ignoring the tweets between the two of us when I made my original video, because, we were both participating, I mentioned him in 2 replies to the YouTuber OMGI James. Now, this was because at the time, James was making a video about Akumu and Madam, and tweeting about it, and since I follow James and was in a server with him before all this happened, I replied to his tweets because I had dealt with Akumu before. Next was the time I retweeted my friend Nezzy Monster talking about him, because she also made a video about him with Ponder Sprocket, and at this point, I had been dealing with him for a few months, and I wanted to mention my experience to a friend on Twitter. I also retweeted Fuchsia Butter's statement, as you guys already saw, because I wanted to support my friend who's being accused of horrible things. I think I brought him up maybe once or twice in my public server as well. I'm sure that I've mentioned him more in private servers and group chats, but not only are those private instances, they're also only there because he was bugging a lot of people in those servers and group chats, so obviously we're gonna talk about it. So that's like 5 or 6 times I've publicly mentioned him over the course of a whole year, compared to how many times he's bothered me and spied in my server without any kind of provocation. Anyways, that's my experience up until this point. Compared to everybody else, this experience isn't really that bad, it's mostly just annoying. But I'm not making this video because of my experience alone, I'm making it because of everybody else's collective experiences and the shit that he's done, and how horrible he's been. Which I'm gonna get into right now. Hey guys, the audio for this segment might be kind of jank because this segment took me the longest to script due to the fact that I had to watch every single video that this kid made on my friend Lucy. So, sorry about that. This is kind of being recorded last minute, but I really need to talk about this one. Now Lucy, aka Fuchsia Butter, has decided that she didn't want to be part of this video because she's sworn off YouTube drama and she just doesn't want to touch this. So I'm going to be talking about this situation instead because this one especially needs to be talked about. Now shortly after my video on Akumu, Fuchsia Butter decided that she was going to make a video on him as well, one discussing a lot more serious stuff that he's done, whereas mine was just reading tweets. The video has since been unlisted due to all of this drama and harassment. However, back when it was still up, Akumu decided to make a response to it. Now this video is mostly just him trying to refute refute everything that she said about him, like how he's not transphobic, he just won't do what trans people want, aka using the proper pronouns. I already played that clip, but I'm gonna play it again in this context.
At the end of the day, I don't hate you for your beliefs, and I'm not going to do whatever you want me to do. I'm not going to refer to you to the proper pronouns, and it's not a big deal over that.
He then goes off about trans people for a little while longer, saying things like this.
But do I hate you for your beliefs? No. Do I fear you because of your beliefs? No. So ultimately, there's no transphobia. You just simply don't like the fact that I'm not going to do what you want. So then you use this word to target people that don't do what you want.
And how he isn't homophobic, he just doesn't like the gay My Hero Academia ships because...
Not once did I say I hate or fear gay people. Not once did I express hatred or fear for gay people. I expressed hatred for fictional ships that oversaturate the BNHA community and have spawned major conflicts within it. The ships just happen to be gay.
And after all that, he claims he gave Lucy an L and everybody thought that he moved on. That is until he decided to go into her server and troll everyone for a very, very long time. And to show how long, I'm going to let this scroll. Keep in mind that when I stopped scrolling is not when he left the conversation. I just stopped scrolling because I figured that was more than enough to show that he was in there for quite a long time. Now, he saw the server talking about him right after a video about him came out as shit talking. So he made another video detailing what he was going to do next. In this video, he admits that he finds this fun.
And then at the end, that's where the fun bits are. I'm going to go through everything that I found in that server that was pathetically sad, but also very funny.
Now after that, everything was surprisingly quiet for a few months. Nothing was really said. That is until Lucy collabed with Foxed in the Freak Show, somebody else who made a video on Akumu. Specifically one responding to his response of Lucy's video. Now in the second video, Lucy, Miss ZiZi, and Fox in the Freak Show read some of Akumu's comments on her video, and apparently that was enough to set him off because he left this comment. After that, he released the video Content Nagasaki Fuchsia Butters. In this video, he does many things. He starts off with this, skit.
You were the chosen one! 2 months ago, you said that you would end the drama, not keep it going.
He also constantly refers to Lucy by he, him pronouns, so if you hear he, him, unfortunately, he is referring to Lucy. He also goes back on his my age doesn't matter thing by driving into the ground how Lucy and her server are adults attacking a minor.
Actively agrees that attacking a minor is wrong. It allowed a subsect of people in his server to blatantly attack a minor. Fuchsia allowed Vab to pay $100 to talk shit on a minor. The same person who said that that minor should die.
He gets upset because Lucy didn't fully punish somebody who threatened to dox his IP address despite associating with Doxers himself.
Kuro, aka Maximus, was entirely open and admitting that they supposedly had been looking at my private information. Now to do that, which we talked about on Discord, they would have to commit a felony, maybe even two, considering Discord protects your information, and with me using a VPN, a paid VPN, Demon would have had to break into server data from said VPN. So even as a mere threat, that is a very serious crime.
Now, I'm not saying that the person who threatened to dox his IP should not have been punished. Threatening to dox somebody's IP is disgusting and should never be done, which is why the person was punished, as Akumu acknowledges.
He didn't ban the person until his own damn staff had to hammer the seriousness of the threats in.
After that, he gets into the server's not safe for work chats. Now, I will admit there were a lot of gross things happening in those chats. Nudes, lolly shit, minors being in the chats. And Akumu would have a point here if the channels were not deleted before the video came out. And he admits multiple times in the video to knowing that the chats were deleted.
He's deleted the prawn hub in the NSFW sections of his Discord and given control to someone else. The prawn hub section of Fuchsia's server was quietly deleted after Foxton mentioned the word video. This was before Juice's video. After Juice's video, the NSFW was deleted and a public statement about both channels was finally posted.
And the reason for that is because Lucy saw how out of control it was and the fact that there was gross lolly shit in there. And instead of acknowledging that Lucy has learned from that and was changing the server for the better, he not only brings it all up as if it's currently going on, but he claims that Lucy only did it to save face and not because she actually cares about the server.
Which I just see that as a mere attempt to prepare for my video so that he can state the responsibility is no longer on him.
He also brings up sex jokes and mention of inappropriate things in main chat on Discord as a point that Lucy's server is out of control.
Server consisting of sex jokes, inappropriate talks, and even images of a penis outside the NSFW.
And then he tries to say that Lucy's a hypocrite because people in her server were making jokes about sexual assault like he did, which is a very, very poor point. The reason that people are upset because of this sexual assault joke, which, let's be honest, this isn't a joke. This is a jab at somebody's assault. But even if it was a joke, The reason that people are upset is not just because you joked about sexual assault. The reason people are upset is because he joked about a specific victim, about their specific horrible traumatic experiences, and proceeded to tag them in this joke. But you know what? I will admit, wholeheartedly, that Akumu has some valid criticisms of Lucy's server in this video, like the mods being minors, or some mods not kicking a suspected pedophile from the server, and the adults sending nudes and other things in the deleted chats. So, good for him. Hey, off topic, did you guys know that Akumu has his own server? Why, with all this huge talk about how horrible Lucy's server is, I'm sure that his is just pretty as a peach, with no horrible things or sex jokes or inappropriate talk to speak of. Why don't we read a few screenshots that have been sent in to me by some very lovely people who will remain nameless. Quick content warning before I read these. They contain a lot of slurs. They're censored slurs, of course, but they are slurs nonetheless. Rat rape, hell yeah. Shut up, nigga. Hashtag searching burn the nigga. Let me talk and get my other free. Stands equals for rats. I need my rat emote. They also have this emote in the server, which was titled, and this is because it is, of course, a very stereotypical and disgusting depiction of a Jewish person. Sexual assault. I invited you to that server. I'm gonna accuse you of rape, Silver. Yikes. Considering the fact that Akumu is a minor, and I'm sure that many people in this server are minors, I'm not sure why he's coming after Lucy for having inappropriate things and sex jokes in the main chat, when his main chat is full of this. After he goes on about the not safe for work chats, he moves on to the worst accusation, and coincidentally the one that he likes to bring up the most outside of YouTube. Akumu tries to claim that Lucy is a pedophile. Now, in a later video, he says that he wasn't saying she was a pedophile, he was saying she was, how did he put it?
To be exact, I said he liked underage character porn and proved such.
His evidence for this? Lucy liking porn of a 17-year-old anime character.
We even have Fushia admitting he enjoys artwork of Naranancia, a 17-year-old, a minor character, getting his chocolate starfish destroyed.
Do you guys want to know how old Lucy is? 18. Akumu tried to claim that Lucy is a horrible person who's into underage character porn, as he puts it, because she liked a character that is a year younger than her in canon. Now, I know that some people, including Akumu, are going to try to claim that I'm reaching, because he never outright says Lucy's a pedophile, and he even says in a video that he doesn't think that she touches children, as he says. I'll play that clip for you now.
I don't believe he's actually touched or he's going to touch children. He's just still morally wrong for what's been proved.
However, something he loves to do is go around on Twitter claiming that Lucy is into underage character porn. I think that we all know exactly what that's implying. I think that we all know the effect that Akumu is trying to have on this. Now, I will admit that this is speculation. There is no evidence anywhere of Akumu saying that he wants people to think Lucy is a pedophile. But leaving out the fact that Lucy liked a 17-year-old character and that she's 18, and just saying underage character porn, that is shady, and I would not be surprised if there was a screenshot out there of him saying that he wants people to think Lucy is a pedophile. Now, after all this, he claims that this whole thing has been very fun for him.
Does that mean I'm going to be nicer? No, absolutely not. This is fun.
Keep in mind, this is the video where he's claiming that Lucy is into underage hentai and that there's pedophiles in her server. Apparently that's fun for him. After that, he ends the video on another Star Wars skit.
Did he just say no? No. No.
And unfortunately, it didn't end here, because after this video dropped, he DM'd Dumbsville, somebody who has collabed with Lucy and is publicly friends with her, with the link to this video. And he did that so that Dumbsville would stop being friends with her and cut ties. And this isn't me assuming anything like I just did earlier. He admitted himself that that was his intention in his second video about her.
Of course I want Dumbsville to cut ties with you. You think you're getting away scot-free with this? Nah. I'll make an example out of you. I never contacted Dumbsville to cancel you or make a video on you. I contacted him to cut ties with you so you wouldn't get any more subscribers.
Oh yeah, there's a second video about Lucy. Why don't we get into that? It's called The End of Fuchsia Butters, which is funny considering that Lucy has only risen in subs and views ever since this video. In this video, he does many things, like repeatedly saying his age doesn't matter, until it does.
Keep in mind my age is irrelevant to the majority of the points I make, and this includes me pointing out Slumber's faults. Butters himself didn't like the fact Madam, an adult, attacked, lied, and slandered a minor, yet he has done the same. In general, with most of the points I make, my age doesn't discredit anything I've said.
Now, granted, he does say that he doesn't care about people quote-unquote harassing a minor, referring to himself. He's just using this to say that if people didn't like Madam, yeah, remember her? That's where this all started. attacking Slimmers, then they can't go after him because he is also a minor. Now, I would say that this is a good point if he didn't constantly tell the viewers that his age doesn't matter at all. Apparently, the only time that it's okay for it to matter is when he needs to use it to make a point. He goes on about more stuff in the server, basically reiterating his old points, and honestly, the only solid point here I can see is that Lucy has given minors admin and mod privileges. After that, he goes over Lucy's explanation for MHA porn, which is something else that apparently she liked, but she has specified multiple times that the characters were aged up. Now, you can have your views on aging up characters and whatnot, but keep in mind that Lucy is still a teenager, 18, but a teenager nonetheless. After this, he spends quite a bit of time explaining why he wasn't accusing Lucy of being a pedophile, just that she's into underage porn. I think we've already gone over how that's totally not a pedophilia accusation. So I'll play those clips for you now.
Not a pedophile, he's just into underage character porn. Still a gross piece of shit. Let's break it down. He's attracted to underage character porn in MLP, but not actual children. There's a difference here, a gray area. For someone who likes to use morals, both instances are fucked. So no, he's not a pedophile, and in Fushia's own words,
cringe with disgust if they have any moral bones in their
he's just into some disgusting nasty shit and is willing to defend said nasty shit. He admitted to liking underage character porn, which is still very bad. Not actual child porn.
Then he goes on to admit that he went to Dumbsville to try to make him cut ties with Lucy entirely. I already played that clip. And after this, he ends it on a Chris Hansen skit mocking Lucy.
Explain to me why you came to a minor's house, a 15-year-old girl's house, as an adult.
But remember, guys, he's not saying that Lucy's a pedophile. After all this, he decided to go around on Twitter, constantly tweeting at her, even when the tweets have nothing to do with him at all, constantly claiming that she's into underage character porn. It's interesting how he doesn't mention that the character she was into was not only canonically a year younger than her, or that Lucy was specifically talking about aged up porn when she was talking about MHA. Like I said earlier, he is spreading this knowing what people's brains will immediately go to when they see the words underage character porn. Now, to my knowledge, he hasn't really said anything to or about Lucy in a bit. I haven't really seen anything other than the passive she's into underage character porn to somebody else who's completely irrelevant. But yeah, that's Lucy's story with him basically, and in my opinion, it's right up there next to Nezzy with being the worst because these accusations are disgusting. And with that, we're probably going to have to move on into people who have been harassed by him and also never made a video about him. So let's go on that. Now we're going to move on to Nezzy Monster. Now, she didn't actually want to be in this video in person, but I'm still going to be talking about her experience with this kid regardless, because it's probably the worst of them all. Now, obviously, this all started when she and Ponder Sprocket released a 2-hour collab ripping his Slimmers video and harassment of her to absolute shreds. And he, of course, responded to the video in both a comment and a sloppy, hastily made video that came out about a week after theirs. After that, it was apparently all well and good. He only DM'd Nezzy a couple times to ask how is that L, as she's told me in voice chats. These conversations have since been deleted because she's blocked him because she no longer wants to deal with his harassment. He also probably bugged her on his old Twitter accounts, but those accounts have been suspended because he breaks the rules all the time. While all that may have been deleted, I'm sure it was just typical Akumu spamming. What hasn't been deleted, however, is his most recent little tantrum he's throwing at Nezzy, one that has been going on for about a month now. And guess what he's doing now? That's right, spreading false allegations. And what false allegations is he spreading about Nezzy? That she spreads false allegations. Allow me to explain. About a month ago, somebody in Nezzy's server made another user uncomfortable by sending inappropriate photos to them. This first announcement has been deleted because she did update the announcement later, which I will show. Now, these images were not pornographic, and she specifies this, but the user did send inappropriate topless photos of himself to another member of the server. Side note, I will be censoring almost all of the names because Nezzy has asked me to. The reason being is that she didn't want this kid getting blasted for making a mistake and having a shitty friend, because Akumu's the only one bugging Nezzy, and the other guy's just kind of doing his own thing. So anyways, on August 24th, Nezzy made that announcement in her server telling people not to DM the person because they were banned for sexually harassing another member, because he was. Then a few more misunderstandings took place, leading people to believe a few other people were an alt of this person or involved in the harassment, and the mods quickly made announcements to clear up their mistakes. After that, it was revealed that the person was a minor. Now, that doesn't change what he did, but Nezzy did understand it, and she knew that it needed to be stated. So she made one final announcement clearing everything up, which reads, "Please do not attack redacted name, as he is underage. He should not be sending these types of pictures he did, not just for the safety of others, but for his own. Please keep in mind the images were not pornographic, but the nature of the images were inappropriate and he still made someone uncomfortable and was sent without permission regardless. The reason I am stating this is because of finding out his age and by request of the individual that requested he be banned. Please stay safe, everyone, and have a nice day. I will not be talking about this situation anymore. I want to clarify he is not evil, but I will not tolerate his behavior or his actions. Now, because of this, Akuma has decided to go around claiming that Nezzy has been spreading false allegations against a minor for sexual harassment, but the accusation is not false at all. Would you like to know how I know this? Because I actually have DMs of the person that she is talking about admitting to a friend and the person he sent the photos to that he sent those pictures, that it was wrong of him to do so, and the person he sent did not want it. Let's read them, shall we? Yeah, nope, doesn't seem I did. Damn, I be saying shit. Look, you're good, and I knew that from the start. Got lovely personality, smart, good at art, funny, cute AF, and kept telling me you had a fat ass. Redacted is a lucky man. Hope that relationship doesn't end, and I mean that. You stressed me out, and I know I've stressed you out a lot. Should have left near the beginning, but something about you made me break several morals that I hold dear and try for you. Not your fault, all mine I know. Asked Redacted if I should leave, refused to respond, got a good idea if Redacted's answer, and I know mine. Here's him talking to a friend about this whole situation. I also can't understand why you would send shirtless pics when she never asked, other than trying to impress somehow. Sent them to friends and they said I was fit, felt body positive, and girls like that, so I sent. So he does not deny that she did not want these photos. Which is awfully interesting, considering Akuma has been running around telling people that the person his friend sent these to wanted it, reciprocated, and shared her not safe for work art with him after those images of himself were sent. Would you guys like to see his evidence of this? His evidence are screenshots from July and August, showing that they were friends and that she trusts him. Do I make you feel safe, confident, or what? Yeah, you can be here. I might take a nap though. Yeah, you do. I left your server, haha. We weren't even friends. Oh, do you want to be? Sure, since you're friends with Redacted, and I trust that dude with my life. Because being friends with somebody definitely means you want their shirtless photos. You're not allowed to be uncomfortable if a friend sends you said pictures because they're your friend. Yet another list of lies to add onto Akuma's little record. Let's watch them scroll by, shall we? Also, can I add something here while these scroll by? Even if this person didn't seem uncomfortable or even did reciprocate at the time, which Akuma has given no evidence for, that doesn't mean that they're banned from ever looking back on the situation and being made uncomfortable. Not saying no does not mean I'm not uncomfortable right now. And saying yes once after the pictures were sent, mind you, because again, he admitted right there that she did not want the photos, does not mean that the person is not allowed to take a step back and be made uncomfortable by the situation. I trust him with my life does not mean I want shirtless photos of him. Ever since this happened, Akuma has been showing up in multiple streams, spamming the chat with accusations of false accusations, tweeting at her and replying to people with these fake claims, and even tweeting at her about things that are completely irrelevant, like things that she retweeted. Recently, is people trying to hack into Nezzy's Twitter and her PayPal. Here I have a screenshot Nezzy so kindly sent me of a couple alerts on her Twitter account. She has two-step verification, so everything is safe. However, both of these happened on the same day. And oh, would you look at that? September 17th, after all this server bullshit went down. How interesting is that? And while Nezzy would not share DMs or emails of her PayPal with me, which is understandable, I do have this DM of her talking about the attempts to hack into her PayPal from a group chat that we're both in. And oh my, look at the date on that one, September 3rd, after all the server shit went down. Now, that's all that has happened up until this point. It's shitty, annoying, and it's horrible. And before I end this segment, I am going to be reading a statement about all this from Nezzy herself. Nezzy says, 1. Did I handle the situation in the best way? No. I undeniably panicked because I thought I started another Spocter or Slazo situation. But after talking to my dad and friends, I realized that no, I was in the right. If I apologize for anything, it is that. To people who want evidence, you don't get to have a say in what makes a person uncomfortable, and I'm not spreading shirtless photos of a minor. Even if he was an adult, I wouldn't do that. This was a closed incident within my server. He broke my rules. 3. I didn't do this out of malice, but out of a place of concern. 4. The reason I'm not appearing in this video, other than this statement, is because I simply don't want to. I'm not involving myself with this anymore. I've dealt with nearly a year of doxing, harassment, and people attempting to hack into multiple accounts of mine and scare me with my address. 5. I'm not talking about this situation anymore. It's already caused me enough stress, and I've said my piece numerous times. Have a good day. Now, before Akumu decides to go and say that this isn't a closed incident because Nezzy decided to bring up the server thing outside the server, bringing up the server incident was my idea. Nezzy did not want to bring it up, and she asked me not to. But I was the one who told her that we would probably have to, because if Akumu makes a response to this video, he's definitely going to bring up the server, and it's going to look terrible on Nezzy because he will be leaving out all of the evidence that I have shown here. With all that said, that is Nezzy's experience up until this point, and that is the end of her segment.
Hey everyone, it's me Slumber, here to give some insight on the drama between Akumu and I. So, if you don't know who I am, I'm Slumber. I'm a small channel with around 254 subscribers, who's been having to deal with Akumu lately. So, for context, I made a rant on Akumu. It wasn't very good. Akumu then replied to that. I replied to that with a good commentary, in my opinion anyway. Then he replied with a commentary. Now we're here. I'm still scripting. The world is burning, and what are we doing with our lives? So, you know, if the drama ended there, maybe I wouldn't be here talking about this idiot again. So, a while back, I announced that I was going to be shifting over to a complete text-to-speech channel. I wasn't going to have my voice in any of my videos. Then he threatens to download them all. That's just great. Like, okay, so I'm insecure about my voice. I talk about you negatively, and your solution is to download them, which implies that you're going to re-upload them with my voice, making the problem even greater. I don't understand, but whatever. Not only that, but I've been having to deal with people threatening to raid my Discord server on Akumu's behalf. Oh, and also he's friends with somebody in the UGTTP, which, if you didn't know, is a group that doxes people, so that's fucking great. So, Akumu's associates don't look good. Akumu as a person doesn't look good, especially since you want to call me he every second of the day. And then you want to be friends with people who go to Trans Girl Me's comment section and say that you are a guy, just for literally no fucking reason. Oh, and before you give me this argument that it's not transphobic to misgender or claim that people are their birth gender just because they were born that way, it's not how transphobia works. You don't decide for minorities what is best for them, Akumu. You aren't even part of the LGBT community. In short, my experience with Akumu hasn't been very good. He likes to correct me whenever I try to correct him, misgendering me. So do his associates. Overall, Akumu, you're really just like, you're chill in VCs, but god, dude, you have such a shitty persona, like, outside of that. I really hope you grow out of that, because, yes, I did kind of start a drama with you, so if you want to say it's my fault, go off, I guess, even though you really didn't have to fucking respond. My final thoughts are just that, dude, you don't decide what's best for other people, so please, stop acting like you do, you really don't. Stop white knighting for Madame so hard, oh my sweet Jesus, I swear to God, every single time you see a picture of her persona, you get a fucking boner, man. But on a real note, dude, you need to do some serious, like, self-reflection, and just stay safe, don't get corona, and I'm out.
Oh boy, hello, Ms. ZiZi here. I've been asked by Libby to come in and talk about Akumu, and if I'm really gonna talk about this, I want to start at the beginning. My first interaction with Akumu was actually him commenting on my Madame video. To be fair, my response was kind of mean, but in the end, it can't be compared to Akumu's behavior. Like a weirdo, he went over to my Twitter and started a frenzy in the replies, where I made fun of his comment. I would show screenshots of his antics. Unfortunately, it's all been deleted at this point. Good thing Libby made a video on it. From that moment, things got worse, with Madame's failure of an apology and everyone clowning on her more. Akumu's tater-tot brain went into overdrive. He made it his goal in life to bug me and my group of friends. To be honest, I should be thankful, because I did not get the short end of the stick. As far as harassment goes anyways. He's bothered me in streams before, and he's also made fun of me for being a furry, which I'm not. However, recently he's been contacting me more and more. See, he and his little friends were sneaking around in my Discord server. I kicked out one of said friends due to allegations of sexual harassment. And no joke, almost immediately, Akumu contacted me and tried to explain to me that his friend did nothing wrong. So, here's the thing. I was pretty tired, and I was also doing something else that was pretty important at the moment, so I was not taking him seriously that night. I even got to the point where for 5 straight minutes, I argued with myself over what Splatoon idol is better. Meanwhile, he kept going on his tangent about how awful me and my friends are. I guess he eventually got tired of me ignoring him and began insulting me. Meanwhile, I was still there fangirling over Callie. I'm honestly so amazed that during that whole damn thing, you couldn't take a goddamn hint. Bro, I'm sitting there talking to myself about cute girls and purposely ignoring you, yet your potato brain convinces you that you're such an intellectual you felt justified insulting me. Like, seriously, did it ever just occur to you that maybe, just maybe, I was messing with you? I swear, never in my life have I encountered someone so dense. It doesn't even stop there. A few days ago, Akumu tried to contact me again. The conversation itself isn't important. What matters is afterwards. That night, I was exhausted, and all I wanted to do was play video games with my friend. I was not going to put up with Akumu. So I just deleted our conversation and I kicked him from my server. And then, like an obsessed boyfriend, he messages me on an alt account saying something like, "You'll never get rid of me." I did the same thing to that account, and then he adds me on Twitter, once again, singing the same tune. Akumu, listen to me. I don't know what your damage is, but I want nothing to do with you. I don't care about you, and frankly, you're acting like a stalker. You get so upset at the sheer mention of you. I can't imagine being such a sad fucking individual where you're at a point in your life that you're stalking a bunch of people you hate and watching their every move on your 70+ accounts. Now listen, Akumu, I don't hate you. I strongly dislike you because of the things you've done, but I'm not here openly mocking you. So listen to me. Take a hint, read the room, get a clue, just please leave me alone. God, increíble. Okay, I'm done. Back to you, Libby. I hope this gets the point through. Akumu, please go away.
Hi there everyone, my name is Junkie. I do YouTube commentary / rant stuff online for fun because, well, I like doing it. Anyways, I'm going to be talking about my experiences with Akumu, and this may be a shock for some of you because there really isn't much to talk about, honestly. I do hope this helps you a little bit, Libby, with your video. So here we go. The first time I ever got anything from Akumu that I can remember off the top of my head was like a comment he left on one of my videos that I think I deleted, actually. I can't find it anywhere on my channel, so it might be because why I probably deleted the video. It was on the game sleuth situation. It's mainly because I deleted it because the video aged very badly and just wanted to get rid of it because I didn't go buy it anymore. Anyways, from what I remember, he left a comment saying, keep my name out of your mouth and everything, and that was pretty much it. When I first read it, I was mainly confused because I don't really take him seriously at all, and I'll get to the why in a moment. There was that, and the next one I remember was where I found out he was starting a bunch of shit with the CC, or the commentary community as it's known. Akumu was essentially, you know, going on Twitter, starting arguments with people, the usual shit he does, right? So I saw there were a few people in the community just memeing on him and quoting what he had to say, and I can't exactly remember what it exactly was, but from what I remember, it was something about how he pulled a Madara on the CC and how he took everyone down and they were all beneath him. Just some really, really edgy stuff. Well, I decided to join in on the fun and just copy paste what he said as well on the on that little post, and it blew up a lot more than I expected. So much so that he actually saw the post and started arguing with me, calling me fat, ugly, I need to shave, that I look like he even quoted I mentioned that I looked like Al from Toy Story 2. I thought that was fucking funny. But he also brings up some like really dumb pedo drama that happened in my server 2 years ago. I know I lump dumb and pedo in the same sentence, but I'll explain why in a moment. Now, for context, this was like in 2018, like mid-2018. Me and my friends were just recovering from the Spoctor drama that happened. For those of you that don't know, I was nearly doxxed, or my information was almost doxxed just from being associated with Spoctor, which kind of scared me, not gonna lie, but thankfully nothing happened. No one knew who I was. It was a bit of a scare. But yeah, I think Ponder's video just came out, and things are starting to cool down a bit. And I hear about this guy, and can't remember his fucking name, honestly. But if I remember, he was accused of sharing explicit shit to minors, and even doxed a minor as well. Me and my friends were a little skeptical of it, because we just got out of some other drama that turned out to be fake as shit. Well, it turns out this was true. It was very true, and from what we were told and even shown. And so I got into a group chat with my mods and shit saying, okay, so what's our plan of action here? They all banded together, like, we need to ban this guy out of the server because, well, you know, he's a pedophile. It's not cool. It's not keeping the server. Like, all right, cool, yeah. Turns out the guy already left the server, like, ages ago. He left it, and so we were like, okay, if he does come back, we'll just auto-ban him. Let's just put a name on... Let's put his name tag on the bot, so that if he comes back in, it'll auto-ban him. We did that, and I was like, all right, it's fine, case closed, whatever. No, that was not the case. The drama began to escalate a bit when people started demanding that we make an expose video on the guy, where we should warn a bunch of people. Looking back, maybe I guess we should have, but like at the time, it's like it wasn't that big of a deal to us because he's already banned. He's fell off the face of the earth practically. He's gone. And the other thing that's been really bugging me is that, like, they were saying how, like, we should expose this guy on what he's done, and we're like, well, I mean, don't you want to send this to the police first? And they're like, oh, we sent it to the police, but it's not enough. And I'm like, huh, okay. It's like, well, for me personally, I didn't want to get involved because, like, it wasn't really my forte. I don't like doing, like, big ol', like, expose videos on, like, big channels and whatnot. Not too often, really. And at the time, I had my own shit to worry about. I had college to worry about. I just got out of the Spoctor situation, and it was just very stressful. Well, they didn't like that. They didn't like that we weren't gonna help or like go after the guy. So shit started getting really bad to the point where people started literally lashing out at each other. It was just, it was stupid, is all I can really say. It's been 2 years now. I'm surprised it's still being brought up to this day. Then again, it's the internet, so I'm not really surprised. But I apologize for the long explanation, Libby. I just needed to give people some context where I'm coming from and what exactly was going on during that time. So Akumu brings it up, basically spotting the rumor he hears online, because most of the shit is basically rumors, you know. I tell him that that's not exactly what happened. It's a little more complicated than that, and Akumu, being Akumu, doesn't fucking believe me. Not like I really care. I don't really have anything to prove to him, honestly. But I guess to get back to that copy pasta thing that the CC made for him, it apparently upset him so much that he went out of his way to try and fix it. That's when I just couldn't take him seriously, because think about it. He tries to put on this tough guy attitude towards so many creators, like he can't be taken down. But when someone pushes his buttons a little too far, he'll flip his lid like crazy. Not to mention his way of insulting is just simply boring. I even told him to read a dictionary from how blatantly obvious his replies and comebacks were. Yeah, that's pretty much it. There isn't really much I could really talk about Akumu. I don't really have much of a history with the guy. I just think he's kind of boring and just not really interesting. But that's pretty much it. Not really that complicated. Hope this gives you a good perspective, Libby. If it helps in any way, shape, or form. Yeah, hope you guys have a good day. Goodbye.
Alright, so Akumu. I'll admit, I didn't think I'd ever talk about him, since I don't typically go out of my way to directly talk about brick walls, but Madlibs had asked me to maybe say a few words, and I complied, so... I guess to start, I don't particularly have too much to talk about, since most of his shenanigans involving me are fairly recent, and well, not much that I don't already deal with on a day-to-day basis. He started up a new Twitter, supposedly evading his previous ban, from what I've been told, found me, and I guess started yelling at me via quote tweets. None of which I was notified of, by the way, which I thought was rather entertaining. In fact, I only knew about this to begin with after another user called Neko Shadows directly tagged me in a spat she was having with Akumu. Otherwise, I would have never known about his antics. Anyway, so I guess this all started when I made a tweet about J.K. Rowling's new book, Troubled Blood, off the hashtag RIP J.K. Rowling, because I am a trans woman Potter fan. Yes, I'm aware that's an oxymoron. And I was interested to see why the fuck she was trending again. For those who aren't in the know, the book was described on pinknews.com as about a murderous cisgendered man who dresses as a woman to kill his victims. This apparently turned out later to be a little overblown, but as it was described, it was very akin to Norman Bates in Psycho, but connected to a TERF and their own beliefs, which is easy to see why one may come to the conclusion that this book was built around transphobia, considering some of her other stances on trans people. So I had said gross, and left a tweet with a silly picture of my Sona casting Mimblewimble, the tongue-tying curse, on JK herself. Following that, then, I guess Akumu found my tweet talking about JK Rowling, and apparently he took issue with the fact that I called people in my replies transphobic, despite the fact that I have people legit misgendering me in my own replies, basically trying to invalidate trans people as a whole. You know, the works. Then persisted to yell at me with various other tweets as his soapbox, one of which was about the cute fanart I seen between the Fall Guy and the imposter from Among Us for some reason, and this is around the time when Neko Shadows had tagged me in her own spats. From there, I realized what was going on, and I muted him. And as far as interactions with Akumu myself goes, that about covers it. Of course, he wasn't done with me. So from here on, there's a bit of a trigger warning for those who may be a little on edge about the transphobic remarks. I know you're out there, though I would presume Madlibs had already done the trigger warning herself, but here you go, just an extra one. So let's dive in. The point I want to start at is this tweet where I briefly mention Akumu to Neko Shadows, because this is the center point to basically everything that I want to talk about from here on. In this tweet, not only does he blatantly deadname me, I grant you my dead name is public specifically so I can lessen the impact of people weaponizing it against me, but then follows that up by saying that he doesn't hate anyone for being trans, so therefore, nothing he has done up to this point is transphobic. So there is a bit to unpack here. Starting with the textbook definition of transphobia. Off the Google dictionary, we got the dislike of or prejudice against transsexual or transgender people. On Webster, we got an irrational fear of, aversion to, or discrimination against transgender people. Wikipedia describes it as a range of negative attitudes, feelings, or actions towards transgender people or transness in general. Planned Parenthood describes it as the fear, hatred, disbelief, or mistrust of people who are transgender, thought to be transgender, or whose gender expression doesn't conform to traditional gender roles, and so on, and so on. I think you get the point. Transphobia, by a more blanketed definition, is a more discernible negative view of trans people. Now let's talk about Akumu's tweet. So, off the bat, as I said, we have the dead naming. Merriam-Webster describes the verb of dead naming as to speak of or address someone by their dead name, which on its own is defined as the name that a transgender person was given at birth and no longer uses upon transitioning. This is even described on Dictionary.com, describes dead names as the birth name of someone who has changed it, with a direct reference sheet that claims it can be used to denigrate the gender expression of a transgender person, which basically implicates an unfair critique or outright disregard to a trans person's identity, which, by the definition we came to for transphobia just earlier, would be transphobic to do. So if he wants to play a little semantics game, we can play the semantics game, and either way, he loses. If you're beginning to see a pattern, congrats. You have more of an understanding to trans issues than Akumu does as he continues to copy and paste the same, "Oh, I don't hate all trans people" narrative, as if that vague statement somehow excuses his blatant transphobic behavior. Now, with all that said, I do get where he's coming from. Don't get me wrong, it's not like I don't understand this kind of mindset. When he describes the original idea of gendered brains being a myth, that is technically correct. However, just because one theory to how trans people come to be was proven faulty, that doesn't intrinsically mean gender dysphoria is a baseless delusion that gives you the right to ignore one's identity outright. Trans people are still being studied. We're newly out because society is slowly, and albeit inconsistently, opening up to the idea that we exist, and to try and revoke our identities like you do to Fuchsia, Butter, and I kinda shows a textbook definition of bigoted beliefs. Hell, literally in February of this year, the Medical College of Georgia at Augusta University found the first biological evidence of the incongruence transgender individuals experience, because their brain indicates that they are one sex and their body another. And with a study of 30+ individuals, which is more than they have ever had, this look back at the potential for a gendered brain theory is currently the newest and most credible source that we have. At least until further notice. You know, science and all that jazz. But until then, you just calling it a delusion outright because one theory was proven faulty is basically unscientific, because there is evidence supporting gender dysphoria being somewhat related to biology. Even before your tweets basically saying that transgenderism is delusional. Now, let's go on to his I don't hate anyone for being trans point. Because, while I'm not going to say for sure he does, I don't really know Akumu well enough to say that, I do want to point out again that I myself had previously, before this whole Twitter debacle started, never interacted with the dude. He has virtually no reason to come at me the way he did. Like, one could argue with Fuchsia Butter, as there was a video directly made on him to respond to. With me, I don't know, the dude just doesn't like me, I guess. I've seen him bring up possible other reasons, but given the fact that he dislikes kiwi farms for effectively hypocritical reasons, I have to wonder about the validity of those particular qualms, because almost everything he has brought up is ripped almost directly from my Kiwi Farms page. Like, obviously he brings up diapers, because really, it's not a complete list of DoodleTones talking points if they're not brought up at least once, correct? I've already addressed that claim to hell and back, though. Basically, the use of fetishism on my DeviantArt account as a whole, back in like 2012, 2013 to 2016, was used as an escape from an otherwise very stressful time in my life. But even if we were to ignore that and I was just into these fetishes, like, let's just go off of this hypothetical. Why would that make me a bad person exactly? Like, why is it something that you need to worry about? It brings up my Just a Robot commentary from 2016, and specifically how I called out his robot voice whilst I edit my own voice, which, A, wasn't the point of that interjection. That was specifically to critique his line delivery, and I have pointed out how my wording implies that in a few videos now. And B, Just a Robot and I don't care about that anymore. Like, this is something that will persist to mildly annoy me until people get it understood, but Jar and I don't have any beef anymore. We're both over the video. Literally, the only people who care about it now seem to be his fanbase and those who are coming 4 years late to the party. In fact, he's even asked to work with me a couple of times, though all of those videos unfortunately fell through. So, he brings up Ben the Looney and how I didn't intrinsically believe him to be a pedophile when people were spreading around the presumption that he was. This is more of a deep cut and, dare I say, an original complaint about me. However, at the time, the evidence that supported that presumption was flimsy at best and doesn't even fully reflect my opinion of the guy now. But I suppose that's a conversation for another day. And finally, he brings up Confessions, a video I made during a low point where I confessed to all my own skeletons in the closet, all of my own problematic behavior, and some of it, I can admit, is genuinely detestable. It was there to hold myself accountable for my shitty actions and to try and apologize for them. I didn't expect to be forgiven for the shit that I did. I still don't expect to be forgiven for the shit that I did. But I'd rather put it out there so that people know. That was the point of Confessions. It was either going to be cancelled, finally, or people would be more willing to hear me out and be more aware to look for any warning signs that I might slip back into bad habits. However, I don't think that justifies harassment at Kumu, especially not doxing harassment, something that has been happening basically all year to me. Like, my information has been held basically as blackmail, and personally, I don't really think anyone deserves that, no matter how trash of a person they are. Though, with that in mind, everything else Akumu has brought up against me has been my gender. So if me being trans isn't your main point of contention for me, then I don't know what is. Literally everything except the fact that I am trans and Confessions is no longer applicable or even relevant to who I am anyway, so unless you're purposely using older information to justify a hatred for me, then we can come to a conclusion you're here calling a girl out because she's trans. Whether or not that's the correct assumption to make, I don't know, and at the end of the day, I don't really care. Though we can't say that there isn't evidence supporting the claim. Your Twitter makes that claim for us. Speaking of which, I know you claim you don't hate me just in general, but I'm also calling bullshit on that too anyway, considering once again this was you coming at me first, and with everything else that I brought up that you have done to be purposely disrespectful or otherwise vindictive, I don't believe there's not at least some level of hatred there, or at the very least a level of spite. No one just goes around quote-tweeting about how someone's content isn't worth monetary value purely with a mild distaste for that person. At the end of the day, as I said, I didn't have too much to talk about. I haven't interacted with Akumu, and I don't really plan to. This was literally him trying to antagonize me, and I just didn't see it until someone else notified me of it. The segment to this much longer video is probably going to be the extent of direct response to Akumu from me, because for starters, I don't particularly like doing videos on people I have a distaste for, and otherwise he's, what, 16? Perhaps that's just a me thing, but I try to be more patient of children. We were all stupid teenagers at one point, and maybe I'm optimistic, but I do think one day he'll grow from this. But until then, he comes across as kind of a pesky little twerp at the moment, who's gonna say that I spurged out just on the basis that I responded at all. He's probably gonna make a response to this video and argue against the notion that he's being transphobic because he doesn't hate absolutely every trans person in the world, and then say that I took the L and I inevitably don't respond. And, you know, his smaller fan base will kind of just believe that. Oh yeah, and he's also a bit transphobic, you know. Anyway, I hope you all have a good day, and remember, you're valid.
Well, now that the video is almost over, I'm sure this kid's gotten pretty riled up, and I'm sure he's going to respond with another poorly made video that's going to dig himself an even deeper hole. Now, I don't really care about that because I've said my piece. I've shown everybody what they need to see, and I'm washing my hands of this situation. From this point on, I am no longer responding to anything he has to say. I won't be watching whatever call out he wants to make on me, because as I've established, he's a liar, he deletes evidence, he leaves out things to make people seem worse than they are, he's not concerned with improvement, only canceling people and tearing them down, and he thinks accusing people of being into underage shit is fun. In short, he is not to be taken seriously. However, I'm sure he'll try to bring up some things you guys don't know about yet. So in this part of the video, I'm gonna do that for him. I'll be bringing up all the shit I've ever done that I'm sure he's gonna try to call me out for. So let's get started. I'm bad at doing commissions. I've had people wait up to 2 months before I finished a commission, and it was shitty of me to do. I gave them a free one in response to that because that was completely unprofessional of me. And that's why I don't have my commissions open, because I know it takes a long time and I don't want you guys to have to deal with that if you pay for a commission. I used to be friends with Toasty Vanilla, who he has made a video on before and has done some shit that I'm not going to get into, but I stopped associating with him a while ago due to public and private things, and I stopped associating with him before Akumu's video came out. I have drawn some not safe for work art. Here it all is right here, censored obviously, and they are all my original OCs who are adults and look like adults. I actually ended up in a pretty funny argument with some guy who tried to say that this fan art I retweeted was an underage character, and then I explained it wasn't, and then he said, well, she looks underage, which no, she doesn't. I follow a whole lot of artists on Twitter and Instagram just based on their art alone, so maybe they've done some weird shit or something shady in the past that I don't know about. But if anybody comes to me and mentions that, I'll just unfollow them. It's really not that hard. I haven't liked any weird porn or anything, because I'm not stupid. I don't like porn on my main social medias. I mean, I reblogged this one time on my Tumblr a few years ago, but that's not a character of anything as far as I know. It's just an OC of whoever made it, and she's clearly an adult. People in my server and people I know personally have made sexual assault jokes. However, I already explained in the Lucy segment why that does not hold up. Speaking of my server, because servers are the only thing this kid knows how to attack, let's go over the problems in mine. Now, my Discord server used to be a cesspool of slurs and gross shit in the main chat, and it was horrible. There was no excuse for it to go on as long as it did. However, as of today, I have banned the people responsible, I talked to the mods responsible, I demodded a couple people who were not being very good mods, or they were saying slurs and whatnot. I cleaned everything up as best I could. There's some sex jokes in my main chat, because apparently that's a sin now. There's been people who come in and say gross shit before, but they've either been talked to in DMs, or I've talked to the mods about it to keep an eye on them, and it's been wrangled as best as we could wrangle it. There's obviously going to be some slip-ups and mistakes, but we're doing what we can. There also used to be quite a few minors that ended up in my not safe for work chats back in the day because they were not moderated as well as they should have been. I was barely in the not safe for work chats, and the server as a whole, I'm a lot more active now because I assumed that no minors in not safe for work was fucking obvious and it didn't need to be said, but apparently it did because I saw how often the rule was being broken and how many minors were getting into those chats. So I made it a specific rule, and it is very well enforced. Speaking of those chats, I do have 3 not safe for work chats on my server. The first one is not safe for work art, the second one is not safe for work critiques for people who want criticisms on said not safe for work art, and the third one is just a general not safe for work chat. However, it is specified in the rules that this is not like a sex chat or a roleplay chat. This is just for people who want to talk about heavy topics or like send memes or whatnot that might be considered inappropriate, like these, or they just want to make like these kind of jokes in general. That's what that chat is for. Nudes are not allowed in any of these chats, neither is like IRL porn, and to my knowledge they have never been posted, and if they have been removed. What is also removed is any underage characters or lolly shit in any of these chats. That is a hard rule in my server. They are immediately removed. We have removed people for defending that shit because it is disgusting. The only time it wouldn't be removed is if me and the mods do not know the age of the character being posted, like we don't watch wherever it's from so we don't know that they're underage. But that's the only time. These chats are all monitored very closely, as I said before, and you can see it from all these conversations between the mods and me and others who are underage or even suspected to be underage. We also have a role that we give to people who admit to being minors in any chat so that mods can see them and kick them out of those chats if they do show up. Sadly, we can't bar the rule from entering the not safe for work chat, other than marking the chats as not safe for work so that people who have their actual age on their Discord cannot get in. But the reason is because we have a special Discord bot used for verification, and if we put the no not safe for work permissions above that permission, to bar from entering the chats, then it's gonna fuck up all the permissions. So we're just focused on having that role, having it neon so that the mods can click on the profile and see it, and kicking them out of the chats if they are seen. Once again, there will be slip-ups, obviously, we're only human after all, but if they are pointed out, these will all be dealt with. I've also shit-talked Akumu's friend Sherman in a few live streams, but that's because Sherman's a little bitch and he won't go away. I thought I'd mention it because he thought Nezzy talking about Sherman was talking about him, and I don't want him putting a clip of me talking about Sherman and claiming that it was him, because it wasn't. He's also been claiming in DM that he's going to be talking about the Fruitcake Club in a video, which is a group channel that me, Toasty Vanilla, Fuchsia Butter, Nezzy Monster, and Miss ZiZi were all going to start together. However, due to my busy schedule and things not working out in general, it has been disbanded. There was also a server called the Fruitcake Club, started by Toasty back when the whole Madam situation was going on, which was eventually converted into a server for artists and YouTubers in general. However, not only was I barely on it other than do voice chats with everyone, I also left the server a long time ago. Also my brother has said the word fat and dyke in our old Steven Universe videos, and because of that I have unlisted the video because at the time I didn't see it as much of a bad thing. Now I realize that him using those words and me not censoring them was wrong. So the video is unlisted. It's not privated because it got 1 million views and I am not losing 1 million views on my channel. I am going to try and go in and see if there's some kind of after YouTube effect thing I can do to like blur the word and censor it, and then maybe I'll put it back up. I probably won't, honestly. It'll probably remain unlisted because that was not okay. I admit that was not okay, and I apologize for that. Even though I did not say the words, I apologize for allowing them to be on my channel. So, yeah, there we go. Everything bad I've ever done that I can think about off the top of my head. Now, before this video ends, I would like to give my closing thoughts. I want to remind everybody that this person is still a minor, and because of this, I ask that nobody go and attack him. This video was not created to attack or to hurt him. This video is meant to make people aware of this person and what he has been doing, and to make sure that before anybody believes the claims that he makes about people, that they know who they are coming from and his pattern of lying. And another thing I want to say, which is directly to Akumu, because I know for a fact he's watching it. I understand that you feel justified in what you're doing, and I know you think that no one else's opinions matter, as you've said when people point out your like to dislike ratio, but I really want you to take a step back and look at everything that I've shown in this video, and I want you to ask yourself if this is all really worth it. Is somebody saying one thing about you on Twitter, or somebody retweeting and defending somebody you don't like, really worth this time and this effort? Is spending time evading bans on Twitter with multiple accounts really proving that you're in the right? Is associating with doxers despite being against doxing yourself really a good thing to be doing? And if it is, if you really think that all of this is worth your time, your energy, and I'm sure your mental health as a result of the negative attention you've gotten, then should you really be a commentary channel? If this is how you respond when people say negative things about you? You can't have both, dude. If you're going to make commentaries, and if you are going to be a troll, and if you're going to as you have acknowledged, make controversial videos or talk about things that people don't like to talk about. You have to learn to deal with people saying shit about you. I've had people say shit about me on Twitter before. I've had somebody try to get Ponder Sprocket to make a video on me before. But I didn't say anything because I know that it's not a big deal in the end. It's not worth going off on somebody just because they don't like you. It's not worth heading into their DMs just so that you can demand to be validated in a voice chat. If this is the persona that you're going to put up, your character on YouTube, if you want to be seen as an asshole, people will treat you like an asshole. People will say bad things about you because they think you are an asshole. You can't have both. You can't be this Howard Stern mean guy and also be this sensitive about anybody saying things about you that they don't like. Because honestly, what this all boils down to is, are you going to be proud of this 5 years down the line? And that's the end of that segment. I'm very sorry that that got very serious towards the end. It's just that this has been going on for such a long time, and this is ridiculous, honestly. This whole situation is. I apologize for this very serious video. Again, I know it's nothing like any of my other videos that I've ever made. Hopefully I never have to make this kind of video again, because this was very mentally taxing on me. I don't understand how a lot of commentary channels do this like every week. This is kind of a nightmare, but I hope that you guys can understand why I felt like this needed to be talked about. And with that said, thank you guys so much for watching. Thank you so much for your support. I've already gotten so much, and at the time of recording, obviously this video hasn't come out yet. So I wanted to thank you guys for everything that you're doing for me and the love that you guys are giving me in this situation, in this time. Thank you for watching. And don't forget to like, comment, definitely don't forget to subscribe and join the madness. See ya.